Are you a company, mid-size, small size, especially in the state of California, and trying to figure out how on earth you're going to deal with benefits for your employees? How are you going to manage this landscape? And it's a real thing for small to medium-sized businesses. And today, man, do I have the pleasure of talking and sitting down with my really good friend, Corey Van Houton. Corey is not just incredibly passionate about something as strange to me as health benefits for employees and companies, but he's even more passionate about being a dad, a husband, an incredible golfer. We're going to cover all that. Welcome to my show, call it a podcast. What I try and do is bring people to you that I can actually make an introduction, not just referral, but like really introduce you to someone who I know is not only a great human being, but really great at their craft. And I look forward to you getting to know Corey just a little bit more. So let me tell you a quick story. Corey, thanks for coming in today, taking the hot seat, got your nice coat on. Guys like you with hair and skin can actually wear those nice colors. Bald, pale guys like me, we can't really pull that off.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Pleasure to be here. And I'm excited for our discussion.
Yeah, good. You know, just to laugh about something, as we were talking to the producers before we kind of started right now, we've grown a little bit in the last year and a half from that crappy podcast you and I did on my Zoom camera and thought that was going to be great. The interview was great, but I just couldn't go public with it because it was just such a terrible piece of marketing that I thought I was going to embarrass you.
The good thing is that was shortly after the Niners had just lost the Super Bowl.
I remember.
And we spent a good chunk talking about play-by-play, what we would have done differently if Corey was the coach. And so it's okay. It's okay.
Well, listen, don't think that we're not going to jump into the 49ers and talk about, so many things that are probably more personal because we're friends first. And then we'll dance around some of the work stuff. Let's just jump right into the 49ers. Did you like the Purdy contract? Or was it like, listen, he's a great quarterback, but if you give him $60 million, we're just not going to be, because they unloaded 4 of their best veterans to do it. Is that just the makeup of the NFL? Or do you think that Shanahan pushed a little bit? Because he's always claimed like, Purdy's my guy, Purdy's my guy, Purdy's my guy. Good contract, bad contract, have to wait to see?
It's tough. I am a big believer in Brock Purdy.
Yeah. I love him, by the way. I think he's a great quarterback.
Yeah, I think
he's a great character guy, right? Which is important.
So I think that in the market today, I mean, you look at like Dak Prescott's contract and what's come of that.
Yeah.
I think to have anyone good and that you're optimistic and excited about, you just have to spend that money.
Yeah.
He's still really young. So
sure.
I'm bullish. But we'll see what happens. I mean, we just got to avoid the injury bug this year because that was just brutal last year.
As we sit here today, I think it's September 3rd, Dallas Cowboys trade Micah Parsons. And there's this massive uproar in the NFL about it. And I was talking to a buddy of mine, like I get it because I don't think Dak Prescott was worth that kind of money. I think if you surrounded better people, you could have brought Sam Darnold in for $25 million, but that's just my opinion. But they paid so much for Prescott. They paid so much for CeeDee Lamb. There wasn't $50 million left for Micah Parsons. And I feel like, I'm going to do this, by the way. I'm going to go back and look at every quarterback who's won the Super Bowl in the last 10 years and find out where they land in the pie chart of highest paid. Because if you look at some of the, Mahomes is Mahomes, just put him to the side for a second. Jalen Hurts just got a big fat contract. But the more to that story is, I kind of feel like sometimes these teams are giving these $50, $60 million for their quarterback and they're still not winning the Super Bowl. Now, you got to have a great quarterback to even get there. But I just struggle with that sometimes. You got to give the guy $60 million, or can you find the Sam Darnolds of the world and pay him a little bit less? But I don't know. I think the Niners gave up too much, and I think Purdy could have taken a little bit less, but that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, I mean, I would be lying if I was like 100% convicted that he needed that money.
Yeah. Especially going from $800,000 a year or something.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. But I like that alternative would have been, I know. Would be getting like Geno Smith.
Trey Lance or something.
Yeah. I mean, we already had him.
Yeah.
That didn't work out.
No, it didn't. Well, that's how you got Brock Purdy.
I think if the Niners can stay healthy, they get Ayuk back in week 6-ish, and McCaffrey stays healthy, I think it's going to look really good.
Yeah.
The defense has got to improve.
Yeah.
They used to be so tough. And it's just been like a sieve the last couple of years, and that's got to get better.
Yeah.
But as long as we can avoid playing Mahomes in the Super Bowl,
you might have a chance.
We might have a chance.
Oh, where does the Niner passion come from?
I grew up in NorCal.
Okay.
I actually liked the Dolphins for whatever reason until I was 4 or 5.
Okay.
And the year the Niners won the Super Bowl in 1995, the 1994 season, the Dolphins had been beaten by the Chargers in the AFC Championship game. And that's like my first football memory because I was in tears.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, why do you care about the Dolphins? I like the mascot and the colors and something stupid.
Yeah.
But that's where I first became a Niners fan. I remember that Super Bowl very vividly.
I love that.
Steve Young, Ricky Waters. Yeah. So it was just from there and
I love
since,
that. Yeah. Let's jump into the second most important thing in your life, your golf game. And, when I first met you, you weren't married and didn't have a kid yet. So I was very comfortable to say, let's talk about the most important thing in your life. But I also know that being a family guy and now you're a husband and a father, and we'll dive into that later. Let's talk about your golf game. You're technically a scratch golfer. Fair statement?
Fair.
When did you start playing? Probably more importantly, when you knew you were good, I know you won't say, I'm really good, but you're a great golfer. When you knew you were really good, was there am I good enough to try and get to the next level in professional golf? Or am I just going to be a great scratch golfer and I'll make money for my friends at skins events and things like that?
Yeah, so good question. I was about 12. I'd played a little bit growing up because my dad played.
Okay.
But
is that kind of where it started?
That's where it started, but I was not into it.
Yeah.
Baseball, basketball, football, tennis even.
Yeah.
I was way more into it. And then right around when Tiger won the US Open at Pebble Beach in 2000, something in me just was like, you got to just start playing golf. And so.
Did you watch it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That summer.
Strange for a 12-year-old, right?
Yeah.
Most 12-year-olds are outside.
And I think until that point, golf wasn't that captivating. I mean, he won the Masters in 97 and that was a big deal.
Yeah.
But I really fell in love with it. And we would basically every day during the summer, we were going to play baseball. And the 9-hole golf course I grew up on was adjacent to the baseball field. If you hit a home run on the baseball field, you hit it into the first fairway.
Yeah.
And so it was a twofer. We would go play baseball and then go play golf when we were too tired to run the bases anymore.
I love that.
And that's just kind of how it started.
Yeah.
And from like 12 until I left for college, and I was really into golf. Like it was something that I was
playing high school.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Tournaments, everything throughout the summer. I mean, I played basketball still. I played a little baseball still, but golf was really number one.
Yeah. Well, your height challenge might have made college basketball difficult. I'm sure you were great.
That and among other things.
Yeah. But baseball and golf, are some of those sports where, sure, it's great to be Aaron Judge at 6'6" or whatever, but Altuve is what, 5'9", and he crushes the ball. But golf is one of those sports where, one of the things, I golf. Just yesterday I told my wife, I said I want to start playing golf more. She's like, you have a real love-hate relationship with the game of golf.
We all do.
We all do. But I was telling her a story when my nephew played high school golf. He was really, really good. And he played a little bit of junior college golf. But the moral of the story was my nephew Paul at his heaviest was like 5'10", 135. He was this toothpick. And he friggin' mashed the ball. Yeah. And it didn't matter how strong I thought I was. Like to compare me to him, I'm like, I'm never going to hit the ball like that. It's one of the things I love about the game of golf. Tall, short, big, skinny, muscular, doesn't matter. When you know how to hit the golf ball, it doesn't matter your size. It's gonna go well. So let's stay on that for a second. So you play high school golf. You're probably pretty serious about it, I would imagine. Did you play in college?
I didn't.
Did not.
At that point, when you're 18, 17, like there's a lot more important things in your world.
Girls.
Yeah.
Maybe school.
I'm leaving this small mountain town in Northern California to go to UC Santa Barbara.
Okay.
And I really liked golf, but there was a lot other more serious priorities that I wanted to try out.
Yeah.
So I didn't.
Especially at Santa Barbara.
Yeah, and I didn't really play in college much. It wasn't until like the end of law school where I kind of fell back in love with golf.
Yeah.
And then you fast forward, 5-6 years from that, and I was playing 300 rounds, 250 rounds a year
Yeah.
because I could,
You-
and I
and
didn't
you
have a
loved it.
family to take care of. And, I'm like blessed to be at a really, really fun club where there's a lot of guys that are my age and really competitive golfers, former pros, former Division I players. And so you're in that environment and it's just like, there's always a game.
Yeah.
You're trying to be the best because there's a lot
So
of
it's still
other guys. Oh yeah.
You're still getting your competitive
Oh, yeah.
juices going, right? Because
Yeah.
you're not just going out on a Sunday on a municipal course. You're playing with guys that are at your level, maybe a few better, maybe a few worse, but you still get that competitive side of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I never was seriously convinced I was ever going to make anything out of golf, like from a professional career.
Yeah.
I mean, you've played enough tournaments and you see the guys that are really good.
Yeah.
And they are so much better. Like it's a different game.
Yeah.
And then you extrapolate that and it's like the guys on TV that we see, I mean, they're playing a wildly different game than the rest of us.
Yeah.
And so you just kind of have that like, oh no, like, no, I can hit the same shots at any given moment.
Yeah.
I could beat them on one hole, but if
Yeah.
we play a round or 2 rounds or 10, I mean, they're going to smoke me. I mean, they hit it so far. They're so good. They make it look just so easy that it can give us this illusion that we could hang with them.
Well, and I love how humble you are about that because I played thousands of rounds of golf. I'm a 17 handicap. I can shoot an 82. I can shoot 102 just as easy. And until I really invest more time, the good news is I just love it. And because I don't invest a lot of time in it, I can't expect to be really great. But I will tell you, I played with a pro golfer one time. I had a friend. This guy's on the tour, Jim Woodward, Riviera Country Club, when the Nissan Open used to be. I'm much older than you. When the Nissan Open used to be there, and this was in the early 90s. Yep. I played with Jim Woodward one time, and I was just learning how to golf. It's crazy how a guy like you, who's a scratch golfer, right? You're a really good golfer. Most of us would play with you and say, shit, that Corey Van Houton dude, that dude crushes it. I love how humble you are to say, I'm not even close to the level of what those pros can do, because there is this massive spread of the best golfer at our courses, a guy like you, because you probably are, you don't have to admit it. But then you compare you to the pros and you're thinking, I can't even carry their bag because of, and the few tournaments I've been to, the finesse and the touch and it's not just the hands and the swings and the longs, it's the touches, it's the how on earth did they put that round peg into that square hole. I'd imagine for you, you see the beauty in what those guys are doing, especially because of the level that you're at.
Yeah. I mean, you can really appreciate the difficulty of the shot they have.
Yeah.
I mean, again, though, they make it look so easy.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
They do.
When you're watching it on TV, it's really hard to make it translate.
Yeah.
And they're playing courses oftentimes that I've never been to. I mean, I've been to a lot of them. Like I played Pebble Beach, I played Riviera, I played LA Country Club. I've played a lot of these places, but like, when they go play the Masters, like I can appreciate the difficulty from watching years and years and years of the Masters. But I mean, it is.
And how much they changed the course for those guys.
It is
too.
Otherwandly what they can do with the golf ball.
Yeah.
Under the pressure with people,
And I was just going to say,
I mean,
when Rory missed that putt, and then ultimately ended up winning a couple months ago, my wife doesn't watch a lot of golf, and I don't watch a lot, but I'll watch some of it. And she's like, it was such a short putt. And a guy like me can say, I'm not Rory McIlroy, but I'm like, I can totally relate to missing that putt. Yeah. I don't care how good you are. I don't care if you're Jack Nicklaus. I don't care if you're the best golfer or the worst golfer. That putt has nothing to do with the putt. Nothing. It has to do with everything that's in your head and the crowd. And to watch him miss that putt. I say all the time, anytime I watch a pro drive the ball OB, I'm like, I can do that.
Yeah.
Anytime I go to a pro baseball game and I watch someone like strike out on like 3 called strikes, I'm like, he gets 20 million, give me 3 million. I can do that. Or I can make that error. Like I could do that same thing. I can't do the 9 things that they do right every time. But I imagine you look at the pro golfers in a little bit of a different lens because you know that you really love the game and you're good. But I appreciate that you can admire that level of where those guys go to and what it takes to get there. The Full Swing on Netflix, which I love. Did you watch that?
Oh, yeah.
You know, what my wife loved about that, my wife doesn't like golf. What she loved about that, and me too, was watching the training. And I hate to say it, the food regimens and the discipline and all the psychological stuff that goes through that. Like some of those dudes, like it's really serious. Although I forgot his name, the golfer with the bucket lid
Joel
hat.
Damon.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I mean, who doesn't love that
Yeah.
guy, right? And there's a reason he's not in the top 20.
No,
But he also has a great disposition about it.
But I think this year he actually cracked the top 100, which is
Did he?
good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a mental game.
Yeah.
And these guys are fine-tuned athletes more so than they were 20, 30 years ago,
For sure. Training and all the stuff. Psychological coach, the mental coaches and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I know we could talk golf forever. Before I jump into health benefits and employee benefits and how on earth a human being could be passionate about that. You finish at Gaucho, you're a Gaucho, you finish UCSB. Did you want to go to law school or was it like, I'm not sure what I'm going to do?
Yeah. So I wanted to be a sports agent.
Okay.
And when you're inexperienced in your life
Yeah.
and you don't have a whole lot of life experience at 21 years old, you go to law school and you're like, well, if I just do this thing and get this degree and pass the bar exam, like I'll be a sports agent because that's what I've been told and see on TV.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is you realize you got to go bring in the athletes if you're going to be successful. You go work in the mailroom somewhere. And so during law school, I served on the board of our Sports and Entertainment Law Society. I met sports agents. I met sports lawyers. And the best advice I got was just like, actually go become a really good lawyer and those opportunities will come about for you.
Yeah.
But go do that first because you're not equipped to even be a decent lawyer when you're fresh out of law school. Like just past the bar. You don't know anything.
Yeah.
You can write well.
Yeah.
You can research well.
You can read and write.
Yeah, but I mean, you put a first-year attorney into any sort of serious legal situation, they're kind of like deer in the headlights.
Right.
So that was good advice.
Yeah.
And then ultimately, after about 5 years, I got this opportunity to do something that I've never, ever thought about doing in my whole life.
Yeah.
It just kind of came about. And it was, kind of prompted by a good buddy that I met through the golf world who was in the business. And
in the benefit space?
Yeah, in the benefit space. And someone who I got to be very close with. And he's 5 years older than me.
Yeah.
But I saw his life and how successful he was and how much kind of like fun he had week to week in his job.
And like, don't judge me. Like I'm laughing inside because like no one thinks health benefits fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I'd imagine you're probably like, wait a second, like this dude's happy and he likes what he's doing and he makes a good living at it and he gets to golf.
Yeah.
Right? All that's probably stirring in your head.
Yeah. He did a lot of just relational type stuff as a big part of his job. And you do that when you're practicing law for sure, but it's like at 10%. I mean, you got to go bill hours. You got to take care of the clients.
Yeah.
The work never stops. And I look at my buddy and I'm like, well, he's really charismatic. He's pretty charismatic and he's smart, but he's not that smart.
Yeah.
Like, he's kind of figured something out. I mean, he was making more money at 35-ish than successful law firm partners that I knew that were working 70 hours a week. I'm like, this is weird.
And miserable. Probably.
And he was, and he genuinely really enjoyed it. And I could tell.
Yeah.
And he had been telling me for a few years, like, you should check this out. And I was like, I don't even know what an employee benefit is. Like, what are we talking about? There's no chance I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Like I met some of your buddies. They're kind of yahoos. Like, why would I do this? Well, fast forward a couple years, talk to him further, meet some people and do some more research and ultimately get put into a position where, like, why not? I was 28.
Yeah.
Didn't have a family again. It seemed like a lot of the things
you just needed golf money.
Yeah. It seemed like a lot of the things I liked about law practice of bringing in clients, negotiating deals, actual like deal points, not arguing about the meaning of the in a contract.
Right.
Right. And advising. And and sure enough, fast forward, it's been almost a decade.
Yeah.
And it's been a lot of those things. There's aspects of law that I do miss, frankly.
Of course.
But I'll always still be a lawyer. I'm never going to not be a lawyer.
Well, don't you think, you and I have talked about this before. We have another mutual friend, Daniel Taylor, who is a real estate broker specializing in probates and all those things. And he's an attorney. And I've got to imagine having the law background that you do. I'm not saying it makes you better than your competition. I think it makes you better than your competition because you have this knowledge base of such critical components of it. And you also, no judgment to my attorney friends out there, I have 5,000 of them. You can also speak to people, right? Because we know some really smart attorneys, and you're like, I just asked you if the sky was blue. What are you talking about? And don't you think it gives you a little bit of an advantage? You're an attorney and you have a personality, you can speak to people, unlike some attorneys.
I would like to
think. Is that a fair assessment?
I would like to think that that's true.
Yeah.
It's funny. The business is really, really heavily geared towards people that are charismatic.
Okay.
And oftentimes people's charisma outweighs their competence.
Yeah.
And also their character.
Sure.
And so, that's who you're competing with. They're these professional salespeople in a lot of regards. And so you come in and you're trying to, take people's clients. That's what this business is all about is you walk into some company, they have someone like me already. Right. I have to displace them.
Right.
And sometimes those are close relationships. Actually, most times they're close relationships.
Well, especially when it's an HR, when it falls under HR, because we all know, which we'll talk about in a minute, the challenges and dysfunction of HR, especially in the great state of California where we live, because we love golf and shorts and flip-flops and all that stuff. I believe it gives you a competitive advantage, but I could also, I think I see where you're going with it, because in my business, it's similar. Some of the things that people will say will sound so beautiful, like not just lipstick on a pig, but really they'll sound so eloquent. And then I'll hear something and I'm like, yeah, but they're lying. I mean, it sounds great, but that's not how you can do something. And then I'm not saying I'm the moral, ethical guy on the high horse, but then I have to spend so much time trying to dispel the dysfunction of the glamorous, presentation someone else gave them that wasn't truthful, right? And I love that you're smirking, because I know that you must go through that.
Yeah, it's every prospective client meeting. I walk into a room usually with 4 people, and
typically C-suite executives, right?
CFO, COO, HR director,
yeah,
maybe like a benefits manager.
Sure.
And there's been so much information that's been given to them over the years.
Yeah.
And a large amount of it is just factually inaccurate.
Yeah.
Or lies, blatant lies.
Yeah.
And so they've been conditioned to not really trust whomever is telling them this.
Yeah. Their radar's up right when you walk in the door.
But they have these perceptions of things based on years and years and years of hearing kind of this spiel from folks.
Yeah.
And there are really good brokers out there. Like there certainly are, but there's also a lot of professional salespeople that give a lot of false promises.
Yeah.
Provide a lot of misinformation, and they're operating in a world that's inherently complex.
Yeah.
Health insurance is nothing if not overly complicated and super, super, super expensive.
Yeah.
And the industry is kind of geared towards that because that's how it lives on.
Yeah.
People don't understand it.
That's how shareholders get dividends and get paid.
And so it's a really frightening reality.
Yeah. Let's just stay on that. I love that I think it's strange that any human being is passionate about health benefits, but I'm glad we're friends, so I can be so bold as to say. Some people might say the same about real estate finance, like who on earth could do that for 32 years? What's the biggest challenge for medium-sized companies today when it comes to it? Is it cost? Is it employee experience? Like not that that's a finite answer, but what's the biggest challenge for middle market companies today? And again, I'm going to talk about California because that's where we are and that's who our client base is. And everyone in the country knows how bad California is in certain areas regarding taxes and insurance and things like that. Biggest challenge for middle-sized companies today when it comes to benefits for their employees?
The biggest challenge is that most companies, let's say under 500 employees, the options they have to do health insurance in a strategic way are fairly limited.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so they're kind of in this black box cycle of we get this renewal increase every year that is paying more for arguably less.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating, and we can't give our employees the raises that they deserve. We can't invest the way that we want because we were spending $3 million last year, and now we're spending $3.5 million this year on health insurance
Which,
alone.
by the way, for less coverage. Because my wife, who is I'm not necessarily politically correct, she's a benefits Nazi. She has been psychotic about benefits our entire life. I was in a motorcycle accident in 2009, ruptured my pelvis. Helicopter ride, 9 days in ICU, like all of it. It was like a $600,000 bill, and I think we paid $200. Just fast forward to today. She works for a nonprofit. She's a W-2 employee. Every year, the insurance goes up and the coverage gets worse. And she works for a small company. I think there's like 52 employees or something like that. Why is it that it's then south of 500 people? Is it just a monetization thing where they just don't carry a big enough stick, and so you're limited if you're less than 500 employees versus if you have 2,000, it's better?
There was a lot of unintended consequences that arose from ACA being passed. One of those is that, especially in California, really any employer under 100 employees, they just pay for health insurance based on how old their employees are. So it's age rated.
Yeah.
And so whether you're healthy or unhealthy, if person X is 50, they're going to pay whatever plan they have at 50.
Yeah.
Now, when you're 100 to say 500, you can get rates that are just based on the enrollment of the person, right? So if they enroll by themselves or with their spouse or whatnot,
kids,
but
dependents.
You don't get any claims information from the carrier. The carrier is telling you that you're running good or bad, and it's their narrative.
Yeah.
And so it's incumbent on the good brokers out there to come up with strategies to fight back against these insurance carriers that are not giving oftentimes like unreasonable or terrible renewal increases to every group.
Yeah.
But when a group does get one, there's no underlying reality of a story as to why.
It's hard to justify.
Other
than it's more expensive.
It's just more expensive. You ran poorly.
Yeah.
When you're several hundred employees, there are strategies that you can put into place to do what a lot of the rest of the country does, which is do some sort of element of self-insurance.
Okay.
The key is, just like everything in life, like that you buy, you want to pay for what you use.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like imagine like being a member at a country club and they divide up everyone's, food and drink orders for the month evenly amongst everyone.
Regardless.
And you were on vacation in Italy for the whole summer.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how the health insurance world is for mid-size employers.
God, that's such a great analogy.
Yeah.
I think people don't really recognize that that's kind of one of the biggest pitfalls for that, is that even if you're on vacation in Italy, you're still going to pay.
Yeah. So it's the healthcare system is it's broken.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, absent someone really shepherding them through it and explaining things, they're left guessing at what's going on.
Yeah.
They don't know the options they have. And oftentimes the only option that, a CEO or CFO or an HR director is given from their broker is, hey, Anthem, 12% more for 2026 than you did in 2025. And they're like, well, why?
Yeah.
Like our employees don't like Anthem. What's going on here? You can insert whatever carrier you want, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just a really, really opaque and just difficult system to navigate for these employers, and they have to offer health insurance to their employees. I mean, ACA requires it, one.
Right.
And two, good luck hiring talent if you don't have a good benefits package.
Right.
But at a certain point, it becomes such a financial burden. I mean, oftentimes it's like the second highest cost line item. Yeah.
Right. Other than probably labor.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
I love California. I'm native. Unless God tells me differently, I'm never leaving. I've accepted that just whatever it is that I don't like, what I value is the climate and wearing shorts and flip-flops 365 days a year. So I'm comfortable in all the things I don't like. If we take that premise for just a second, my friends in other states, especially the Californians that have moved to Texas and Tennessee, it's interesting. Prior to a couple of years ago, one of the big benefits my friends would say is they would talk about the cost of insurance, whether it was their employer's insurance, employee insurance, car insurance, homeowner's insurance. Something that's interesting, even though California still sucks the most about this, those other states are right behind us now. Texas and Tennessee especially, homeowner's insurance is almost as bad as California. Employee benefits insurance, the same, as bad. So whatever decisions California made recently, what's it called again? The AB?
Well, ACA was
ACA.
federally passed in the Obama administration.
Okay, so I didn't know that. So
Yeah.
is that one of the reasons then maybe why some of those other states are now just as bad as California? Potentially?
More so just healthcare inflation.
Yeah.
You know, in the other states, the carriers see a lot more self-funding than we do in Southern California.
Okay.
The existence of HMOs in California, and especially down here in Southern California, historically has helped control costs.
Yeah.
But if you tack on 10, 15% renewal increases
every
8%
year,
renewal, I mean, eventually, you're paying 100% more.
Yeah.
And so it's just this healthcare inflation crisis that we have with no end in sight, where, the whole system is just predicated on volume of treatment.
Mm.
There's not incentives that are in line to keep providers getting more money if they keep their patients more healthy.
Yeah.
There's not
And
incentives.
it used to be like that.
Yeah, well, sure.
Right?
I mean, there used to be pre-existing
To a certain
condition exclusions, right?
used to be
Which,
a thing.
Good or bad, depending on how you see it. But for a lot of folks too, I mean, there's not an incentive for employees to do anything to be better consumers of their of their health either.
Yeah.
I'm going to pay a $20 copay for this, whether I go to a really good provider or one that I just got, referred to down the street who operates out of a little trailer, right?
Yeah.
If I go to the hospital, a lot of plans, I'm not paying anything because my deductible's already been reached. So I don't really, if I have to go to the emergency room of the hospital, I don't care.
Right.
But so the system's a mess.
Yeah.
And it's really, really complicated.
Yeah.
And unless you do something about it, you are guaranteed to be part of the mess and to have your costs increase 10 to 15 to 20% or 40% in a bad year every renewal cycle.
Has anybody, just an opinion, because you're an attorney now, you got to be careful on that stuff. Has anyone, in your opinion, come up with a solution that could improve it? You know what I mean? Like we all like one of the things I'm older than you. One of the things I've stopped doing at 58 years old is I've stopped complaining about things I can't control, like homeowners insurance. I can't control it, and I'm not leaving California, so I'm going to embrace the suck, I call it. Has anyone come up with an idea that, just in your opinion, has some merit to where it could make some improvements? Or is it everyone's just like, it's got to get better, it's got to get better, but no one really has a solution to even figure that out?
I would make the argument that no one has a solution.
Yeah.
And part of that is because there's so many relevant players that are involved in constructing a solution. That's
too many chiefs.
That's going to be, well, it's just too many different factions, right? You have, on one end, you have the providers.
Right.
You have the insurance companies. You have the drug manufacturers. You have lobbyists. You have medical device companies. There's all these different players, and
almost all of them have a seat at the table.
Yeah, they all play a role.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to try
interesting, I've never heard it like that.
If you're going to try to improve the collective health world of our nation, you got to involve all these different factions, because doing one thing doesn't fix the totality of the problem. Yeah. It's
and there's got to be 3 of those 6 people that started up. I always tell people sorry to interrupt, but it's my show, so I can do that. There's got to be 3 to 6 people at that table, right? Where you might do something that benefits these 3, but then it impacts those 2, right? So trying to get them all. Okay, let me ask you a really tough question, and I'm going to use a word that I believe exists in so many areas in our life. I can bring its relevancy into the mortgage market and some of those things. Even though no one would admit it, do you agree that there is some sort of unspoken collusion in the sense, and I'm not like a conspiracy theorist, but you get to a point to where everyone's kind of doing the same thing. Like I'll give you a quick example. Like in the mortgage business, if one big institution changes one category of credit risk, the other 9 change in 3 days. And I always say that's because someone with an Excel spreadsheet in a closet by themselves figured out there was a risk there. With that kind of rough preemptive comment, it seems like when one increases 8%, the other increases 8%, or they all increase 8%. And then it's almost like, to a certain degree, some sort of collusion, because they're all just doing the same thing. And how are they all doing the same exact thing unless there's some sort of understanding of what the others are doing?
Look at Southern California. There's 7 major medical carriers. To get a quote from any of them, they have to know what you're paying the other carrier today.
Seriously.
Yeah. They won't.
Do they request, do they say, hey, I need a copy of what you're currently doing or something?
To bind their proposal that they give you, they will require seeing the renewal from the incumbent carrier. Okay, there's 7 carriers.
Yeah.
There's only 7 places to go for most companies. Right. And so, yeah, absolutely. And that's just Southern California.
Oh my gosh,
right?
that's insane.
They're all competing.
Of course.
But they don't have to come down 50%.
Right, because they have a copy of the...
And so...
Do you know how much easier my life would be in the mortgage business if I could tell everyone, just give me the written quote? Yeah. Well, first of all, I ask people for a written quote. 9 out of 10 say they told me that over the phone. Then I know who I'm dealing with. But boy, that sure does make it a little bit easier not to have to give the best deal potentially. If someone's paying $1 and you're like, I'll do it for 95 cents when you could really do it for 85 cents.
Yeah.
Fair statement?
Yeah. So the way I approach it is I tell them this, and I would truthful, like, I don't share competitive information. Like I'll give you the renewal at the end of our negotiation because it's required pursuant to your underwriting guidelines. So you tell me, but I'm not giving it to you beforehand. We can discuss it loosely. Yeah. And I can tell you targets.
How does that work when you do that? I mean,
it's usually honored. And there's certain situations where I'm like, hey, like, I know you need to see this for your underwriter. I understand. And the client's going to move to you. So let's just cut the chase here and do it.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's a game. The fully insured, like sub 500 employee segment. Yeah. It is playing a game. And thankfully I'm good at the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're good at the game, but it's a game.
Are you, one more thing on this. You really are passionate about the sub 500 size companies. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I would say probably under 1,000 is where most of my clients sit.
And do you think that's because, like everyone has a different opinion on where their sweet spot is. Why do you think that's your sweet spot? Is it knowledge? Is it I give a shit? Is it a combination of those things? Because I know someone who only wants people with 3,000 employees or more. And I get it. Everyone's got, some people want $1 million loans. Some people want 300,000. I totally get it. Why do you think your sweet spot is, call it 500 to 1,000, under 1,000 employees? Why do you think you're so good at that, and that's your sweet spot?
There's a lot of opportunity there because a lot of these companies have grown to the size that they're at.
Yeah, they maybe didn't always start out that way.
Correct.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of opportunity for them to benefit from working with someone like me.
Yeah.
They're usually fun engagements because you're working with the owners or the founders or the family legacy type businesses. But there's just a lot of opportunity. Like you get to meet a lot of employees.
Yeah.
One quick story I'll never forget. New client. We just wrapped up their first open enrollment. The general manager got a hug from one of his employees that he's never gotten a hug from before.
Right.
Thanking them because we were able to save the company so much money, which impacted their payroll deduction. They went from paying $350 a paycheck for their family to $70.
Wow.
And it was a big difference for someone making $45,000 or whatever it was
massive
a year, right?
For those people.
And so that sort of story at a bigger company, I don't know how often you hear those things.
Yeah.
But when it's a 200-person company and you hear something like that, that bellies the passion I have, right? That's where it comes from, is because you can make a difference like that.
Fair to say that transaction also, because we're friends, I know you personally. Does that transaction, we all need to get paid to turn the lights on, right? Got mouths to feed. Does that type of transaction, though, it sounds to me like the engagement combined with you got to make a living outweighs just going after a bigger account to make more money.
Yeah.
Fair statement.
And the mid-market, there's a lot of really good revenue opportunities in that space.
Yeah.
It's, you could have 1,000 employee company and a 10,000 employee company, and maybe the commission or the revenue to the broker is the same.
Okay. Interesting.
So it doesn't always correlate.
Yeah.
But it's way more fulfilling when you're working with,
for sure,
those owners, and you can really make a difference. And it's not some publicly traded company that's reporting to shareholders and the like. It's just,
Yeah.
it's way more fulfilling.
Yeah.
And for me, that's something
Yeah.
that
To hear about the
I
hug.
need.
Yeah.
I need to have that.
Good for you.
Otherwise, I'm practicing law and, helping some really, really rich person get richer from some deal, arguing about the meaning of the.
Or fight with another rich person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I love that. One of the things I always say on this show is I've known you a long time. Every single guest I've had, I've learned one more thing about them that I didn't otherwise know. And I'm telling you, it's hands down one of my favorite things. And again, to hear someone be passionate about benefits is an oxymoron to me. As we get close to wrap up, I want to spend a couple minutes on a few things. You got your first kid,
yeah,
2-year-old son, golf clubs yet?
he does.
And
a few sets of different types
Does he
of
do it
weapons.
like in the family room?
Oh,
like
yeah.
as
So
you're,
we got plastic in there.
yeah.
We got like more traditional ones outside.
And what's his level on it? Meaning, does he want to do it just to grab it if you're sitting watching golf? Or is it, hey, let's go hit the ball around a little bit?
I don't know, but I remember him being quite young and him like doing an air golf swing, like sitting in his high chair. So whether he likes it or not, we'll see.
Yeah.
He'll have the opportunity to like it if he wants to, because it's going to be on TV.
Yeah, a lot.
And I'm going to be doing it.
And
I'm going to take him to be doing it. So well, I mean, I think he's going to be an athlete of some form.
Yeah, well, and you loved baseball and all those things anyway. So I'm sure he's going to find something with the ball in his hand. So I took all 3 of my kids to the driving range. Not one of them had even an inkling of a thought. They're all like too slow. And I love the slowness of golf because it allows me not to be on my email. It allows me to not be busy. 2 more things. Biggest fear for him when he becomes a teenager?
Oh gosh. I mean, the world's an interesting place right now. I mean, like the whole, just social media, if we could just start there, like how, like what will he have access to? Like, when will he get a cell phone? What will school look like? I mean, just, you go from these problems when they're young, which is like sleep, like them being fussy, to like real life, actual human problems.
Yeah.
And so, just making sure he's grounded, making sure he's, really focused on being a good person and being caring.
Yeah.
Like, I just hope that he goes on that path.
Yeah.
But yeah, the world's a scary place, and especially to raise kids. And the more folks I talk to with, middle-aged, high school, kids, like, it's like, oh my goodness, that's one more thing to add to the list of stuff I got to worry about. You know? So
I'm sure you've seen it. There's been a number of schools in other states that have gotten rid of cell phones. One of my very best friends moved to Texas to be with his grandkids. The 3 kids go to it's interesting, they have a kind of a hybrid private public school, long story. No cell phones at school until you're a junior, if you're playing sports or have a job. And for 4 years, the teachers are reporting they feel like they have an extra hour in the day. Truancy is down. School fights are down. There's so much reporting stuff on there. And we all know the good and bad of all of it. There's some great things about social media phones. There's some bad things. I'm with you. My wife and our kids are grown, as you know. I say I'm grateful I don't have you. I got an 8-year-old granddaughter, but I'm grateful I don't have it, because no matter what I would have done right, something would have gone wrong. And I will continue to pray for my friends with young kids and how that looks. As we wrap up, I want you to look into that camera and give me 30 seconds. Like, if someone really is confused on their current benefits, or they really want someone who gives a shit at a different level, just in the way you come across, look in that camera and give someone 30 seconds of like what they can do to maybe reach out with you, connect with you, and how you might be able to help them.
Yeah. So, if you're an employee at a company that, you get your employee benefits through, you got to talk to your leadership teams and say, hey, like, this is too expensive. This is really confusing. I feel like I'm on an island, and hopefully they can, kind of parse through that and get in touch with someone like myself, or someone that can help in a different fashion. And then if you're a CFO or finance person, you're an HR, you're a CEO, you're touching this stuff, maybe not day to day, but month to month, year to year on renewals, like, gotta really get a second opinion to see, like, are we paying too much? Are we paying what we should be paying? what sort of options do we have? What sort of options don't we have? And just get a holistic look at this, because too often we walk into businesses that have been doing the same thing for a decade and they're overpaying by hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and sometimes millions of dollars. And that's what we want to avoid.
Yeah. My friend, Corey Van Houton, strangely enough, like is passionate about benefits, which is foreign to me. I've probably said it 4 or 5 times, but thank God there are people like him, who you like to use this term, who give a shit at a different level. And Corey's with One Digital. He's just passionate about what he does, and he's really good at it. And if you can tell how passionate he is about his family and his golf game and how that might carry over into what he does for a living, you would benefit from reaching out to him. So don't be afraid to reach out to him. He's a dear friend of mine. He's a great source. He's an advocate for people and companies who want to try and get better with benefits. Corey, thanks for coming in and taking the hot seat, man. This is really fun.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time.